and welcome to the Midday Update. These are the top headlines from our newsroom today. Immunity from COVID in sight. People with autoimmune disease can take COVID-19 vaccine. ICU admissions due to COVID-19 crossed 300 to reach record number. Free jobs for private health workers in Muscat. 1,400 Omanis take exams for public prosecution jobs. Blinken slams China over lack of transparency over COVID-19 origins. 2 arrested after French president slapped during tour. Second edition of Lanka Premier League to begin on July 30th, final on August 22nd. These were the top headlines from our newsroom today. Let's see how the weather looks like in the Sultanate in our weather update.
This is Mayth El-Chukeli with today's weather update, and right now I'm reporting from inside the TFM studio in Al Khuir. Before we move on to our weather update, here is our fact for the day. In 1955, a thunderstorm in Belgium set off 40,000 pounds of explosive from World War I Battle of the Messines. That is our fact for the day. Now let's take a look at how the weather will be like in the Sultanate. An alert has been issued by Oman Meteorology and Civil Aviation authorities saying that there will be strong winds and hail during thunder showers. There will be clear to partly cloudy skies along the coastal areas of Dhafar and adjoining mountains with intermittent drizzle. There will be mainly clear skies in the rest of the Sultanate with chances of convective clouds development over Al Hajar Mountains in the afternoon and in the evening. There's also chances of late night to early morning low-level clouds or fog patches along the coastal areas of the Arabian Sea and Oman Sea coast. And now let's take a look at how the weather will be like in all the governorates. Muscat will be sunny, temperatures between 37 to 31 degrees Celsius. Musandam will be partly cloudy, temperatures between 37 to 29 degrees Celsius. North Al-Batana will be partly cloudy, temperatures between 36 to 31 degrees Celsius. South Al-Batana will experience thunder showers, temperatures between 43 to 30 degrees Celsius. Al-Buraimi will have thunder showers, temperatures between 45 to 30 degrees Celsius. Al-Dhahira will have thunder showers, temperatures between 45 to 33 degrees Celsius. Al-Dakhiliya will have thunder showers, temperatures between 45 to 28 degrees Celsius. North Al-Sharqiyya will have thunder showers, temperatures between 44 to 27 degrees Celsius. South Al-Sharqiyya will be partly cloudy, temperatures between 42 to 28 degrees Celsius. Al-Wusta will be sunny, temperatures between 47 to 29 degrees Celsius. And Dhafar will experience thunder showers, temperatures between 28 to 23 degrees Celsius.
Welcome back to TTV. You're watching Midday Update. Now, before we get into the details of the local stories for the day, let's see how the COVID-19 situation looks like in the Sultanate. The Ministry of Health has announced the registration of 14 new death cases due to coronavirus today. This has taken the total death toll to 2,448. The health officials have also extended their deepest condolences to the families of the deceased. Moreover, the Ministry of Health has also announced the registration of 1,931 new coronavirus cases in Oman today. The total cases in the country have now touched 228,579, which also includes 206,844 recoveries as well as 2,448 deaths. In the last 24 hours, the Ministry of Health has also recovered 818 recoveries. The ministry urged everyone to adhere to social distancing instructions issued by the Supreme Committee and the Ministry of Health. And now from a local desk. Oman is expected to reach immunity against COVID-19 in 6 months if vaccines continue to be delivered at the current rate, a specialist on infectious diseases in the country has said. Dr. Zaid Al-Hinai, consultant on infectious disease at Sultan Qaboos University Hospital, encouraged people who are eligible for the vaccine to get themselves jabbed at the earliest, with the country scheduled to receive nearly 5 million doses of the COVID-19 by October 2021. This was made possible due to agreements signed with vaccine producers and through the Global Vaccine Alliance, said Badr Al-Rawahi, the Director of Infectious Disease Control at the Ministry of Health. In addition to that, an update has also been issued regarding the drive-through vaccination program in Muscat. A statement issued online by Directorate General of Health Services in Muscat Governorate said, work is underway to complete the technical aspects related to the immunization service against COVID-19 inside vehicles at Oman Automobile Association. The start day of this service and the target group will be announced upon completion of the regulatory procedures. People with autoimmune disease can take the vaccine if they are among the target groups and have no other contraindications of COVID-19 vaccination, said the Ministry of Health. The vaccine can be given to people with autoimmune diseases if they're among the target groups and have no other contraindications for COVID-19 vaccination. Doctors who follow their cases should be consulted before they are given the vaccine, according to the statement issued by the Ministry of Health. Moreover, the Directorate General of Health Services in Muscat Governorate has clarified about COVID-19 vaccine. According to the statement issued by the Directorate General, it said that the Directorate General of Health Services in the Governorate of Muscat would like to warn that the target group that is currently being vaccinated are those who are due for the second dose only in the Governorate of Muscat. The Directorate General added that the vaccination of other groups will be announced later, and everyone is requested to follow updates on the Directorate's account sites on social media platforms. More than 300 people with COVID-19 are currently in intensive care units across Oman, figures released by the Ministry of Health show. There are currently 329 COVID patients in ICUs, a significant rise from the 303 people who were in intensive care as of Tuesday, June 8th, 297 on Monday, June 7th, and the 290 on June 6th on Sunday. There are also about 1,021 patients with the coronavirus admitted to hospitals, of whom 128 were admitted in the last 24 hours. 2,448 people have also unfortunately died from the disease since the start of the pandemic. The Ministry of Health continues to remind people to adopt to the precautionary measures to stop the spread of COVID-19 in the country. These including avoid group activities and gatherings, wearing a mask, maintaining social distancing, regularly and thoroughly washing hands with soap and sanitizers, avoid touching one's face, mouth, nose and eyes, following healthy habits while sneezing or coughing, and committing to isolation if you have symptoms of COVID-19 or have come into contact with those who have the disease. To bring down case numbers and hospital admission rates in the country, people currently eligible for their second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine have been asked to get vaccinated at the earliest. The General Directorate of Health Services in Muscat announced it would start giving the second dose of COVID-19 vaccines for those who have received the first dose and have completed 10 weeks or more as per prior scheduled appointment. Depending on where they live, those who need to get second dose can go to Al-Nubaha School for Basic Education in Sib, Quriyat Polyclinic, Sultan Qaboos Sports Complex in Bosher, the Office of the Governor of Al-Amirat, and Imam Jabir bin Zaid School for People in Muscat and Matra. All of these centers are open from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. on weekdays and are closed on weekends, with the exception of Sultan Qaboos Sports Complex, which will see vaccine recipients between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. The Directorate General of Health Services, commonly known as DGHS in Muscat Governorate, has started vaccinating private sector healthcare workers against COVID-19. The vaccines are being administered free of charge. An announcement by the DGHS Muscat Governorate added that it started to administer the Sputnik V vaccine to doctors, nurses, dentists, and paramedical staff of private establishments on June 3rd. However, other hospital support staff are not eligible. The vaccines are being administered at Badr Sama Hospital, Ruin Al Khod branches from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Those who wish to get jabbed are required to bring the civil ID card and Ministry of Health license. 1,400 Omanis across the country have written their exams organized by the public prosecution as part of the hiring process for the post of public prosecution assistant. Candidates who wrote the exam had BAs in Sharia law or above and were split into two groups, a precautionary measure to curb the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. The sorting of candidates will be processed electronically per a program created by the Sultan Qaboos University to assess tests taken in government institutions. Nasser Khamis Al-Sawai, the Attorney General, went on an inspection tour to follow up efforts made to conduct the tests held at the Sultan Qaboos University labs via computing systems monitored by the Sultan Qaboos University's Community Service and Ongoing Education Center. The Public Prosecution Department's efforts to hire more Omanis is part of attempts to employ more nationals from the labor force. A number of companies across different areas of operations, both in the private and public sector, have announced vacancies for qualified applicants. 11 positions, for example, have been announced by a key financial institution in the country, for which applicants have to submit the necessary documentation by June 18th. A leading tourism development firm has also called on IT specialists and programmers to join them. A number of jobs have been made available at nationwide environmental services, facilities providers, and utility companies, while a prominent telecommunications firm, through its graduate hiring program, is looking to give jobs to 140 Omanis. Those who wish to apply under this program will need to send their CVs to the company in question before 21st June, after which they will be reviewed, with successful candidates moving to the next stage of evaluation. Successful candidates will be inducted into a 6-month training program, which is set to begin in August 2021 and will be provided a monthly allowance. In addition to that, an architecture and design firm in Muscat is also keen on having recent graduates and final year students train with them to provide them work experience that will help them develop their careers. A number of jobs in retail and vocational training, as well as a number of specialized maintenance roles as technicians and engineers, have also opened up for Omanis. This was all from our local desk for the day. It's time for us to take a quick commercial break, but stay tuned for more updates from our international desk.
Oman's largest online supermarket now has no minimum order limit. From grocery to household items, Rafiq has everything that you want. Enjoy worry-free shopping with over 8,000 products to choose from and get it delivered straight to your doorstep. Rafiq, you order, we deliver.
Welcome back to TTV, watching Midday Update, and now from our international desk. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken on Monday slammed China again for the lack of transparency on the origins of the coronavirus as global pressure mounts for a fresh probe in Wuhan. What we have seen, more than unfortunately, from the People's Republic of China since the beginning of this crisis is a failure to meet its basic responsibilities in terms of sharing information and providing access, Blinken told the U.S. House Committee on Foreign Affairs, reported Voice of America. In his opening remarks to the committee, the Secretary of State said that China and others are working hard to bend international organizations to their worldview and stressed that organizations should remain grounded in the values, principles, and rules of road and rules of the world. Earlier, a top World Health Organization official on Monday said that the WHO cannot compel China to divulge more data on the origins of coronavirus. Mike Ryan, director of the agency's emergencies program, said at a news conference that the WHO doesn't have the power to compel anyone in this regard, reported Al Jazeera. The Wuhan lab leak theory has recently become the subject of renewed public debate after several prominent scientists called for a full investigation into the origins of the virus. The hypothesis that the virus was accidentally leaked from the lab was largely disregarded by scientists in the early stages of the coronavirus outbreak. China has repeatedly denied that the lab was responsible for the outbreak. Meanwhile, the US is distributing the first 25 million doses of its committed 80 million access doses of COVID-19 vaccines to Asia, Africa, and Latin America, while China is actively pushing Beijing's vaccine diplomacy, positioning itself as the predominant provider of COVID-19 vaccinations to other countries, reported Voice of America. Now, 2 men have been arrested in the incident where French President Emmanuel Macron was slapped in the face while he was visiting the country's southeast as part of his nationwide tour. The prosecutor's office of the city of Valence said 2 men, both 28 years old, were arrested in the incident, pictures and video of which soon surfaced on social media and also broadcast on the local BFM news channel. The arrested duo have been placed in police custody for violence against a person holding public authority, the Valence prosecutor's office said. Footage shared by CNN affiliate BFM showed Macron walking up to a metal fence and clasping the arm of a man in the crowd as he began to greet onlookers in the Drôme region of France. The man grabbed onto the offered arm before slapping the French president across his left cheek while yelling for the end of Macaroni, a contemptuous word used for Macron's presidency. Macron's security detail quickly intervened, tackling the men while pulling the president away from the metal barrier. This comes as France's presidential elections are less than a year away and the country is just weeks from regional elections on June 20th and June 27th. Meanwhile, Macron is not the first French politician to be attacked in public, reported CNN. In January 2017, former Prime Minister Manuel Valls, who was at the time the left-wing candidate in the presidential primary, was visiting Brittany when a young man struck him before being overpowered by the security services. Once again, it's time for a quick commercial break, but stay tuned for more updates from a sports desk.
Oman's largest online supermarket now has no minimum order limit. From grocery to household items, Rafiq has everything that you want. Enjoy worry-free shopping with over 8,000 products to choose from and get it delivered straight to your doorstep. Rafiq, you order, we deliver.
Welcome back to TTV. You're watching Midday Update. Now from a sports desk. Sri Lanka Cricket on Tuesday confirmed that the second edition of the Lanka Premier League, commonly known as LPL, will be beginning on July 30th and the final will be played on August 22nd. Health protocols for the second edition of the LPL will be planned based on the directions of the Ministry of Health. The inaugural edition received wide-scale attention and millions of fans from across the world viewed the tournament via television and digital platforms, with 135 million viewers watching the finals, said SLC in an official statement. The 2020 edition was held under a successful bio-bubble environment. The first edition of the LPL, which is Sri Lanka's topmost domestic T20 league with an international flavor, was initiated last year and was held at the MRICS Hambantota while the participation of 5 teams. The first edition of LPL was conducted under a successful bio-bubble environment commencing on November 26 last year. Jaffna Stallions won the inaugural edition of the tournament as the side defeated Gaul Gladiators in the final on December 16, 2020. With this news, we have come to the end of the episode for today, but stay tuned as we'll be back again tomorrow with more updates and latest news your way. Keep watching TTV.
You've just heard the live feed from the TTV studios on TFM 95.4. Let's talk.